Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Nachmittag. Herzlich willkommen zu unserer heutigen Ausgabe von Insights bei Arrow, werte Geschäftspartnerinnen und Geschäftspartner. Ja, das Thema, das wir uns heute vorgenommen haben, das Partner Momentum Summit von der Broadcom. Wie wir schon annonciert haben, ist der Arrow seit dem 1. Februar 2022 exklusiver Vertriebspartner des Cyber-Security-Portfolios von Symantec. Und ja, herzlich willkommen, Ciaran Hayes. Hi. Und Christoph Pelech, Ihr Ansprechpartner für die Symantec-Lösungen bei uns, bei der Arrow. Wir haben uns einiges vorgenommen, einfach einmal einen Überblick zu geben, was hat sich dort getan, welche Produkte wurden annonciert. Ciaran, ich muss ihm noch Deutsch beibringen. Aber wir werden, wie wir auch annonciert haben, werden wir dieses Webinar auf Englisch abhalten, da der Ciaran den größten Teil hat. Yeah, hi Ciaran, again welcome. Now you have the word.
Great. Hi, Raider. Thanks very much. So I'm just going to share my screen and present.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. We will see.
Great. Very good. Thank you, Raider, again, and thanks to everybody in Austria. We're just going to review what was a fantastic recent event, the Broadcom Partner Momentum Summit, which took place in Barcelona from the 6th of February to the 10th of February. So I suppose first and foremost, it was a really exciting event. It was the first such event that had taken place in a couple of years. Obviously, COVID had put a stop to any events in the past few years. So really, it was one of the first big events post Broadcom acquisition of Symantec. So I think everybody was really surprised to learn about the overall Broadcom portfolio. So not just Symantec, but also their NetOps divisions, their AIOps divisions, their mainframe divisions. But indeed, the main focus for us, of course, was around Symantec and around the Symantec portfolio. So very positive, I suppose. First and foremost, there was a huge turnout. We had to book, or I should say, Broadcom had to book several hotels to accommodate all the partners across Europe, which was great to see the interest from the partner community. So we had many speakers. There were awards at the event, so different partners from different parts of Europe won awards in their specializations and in their focus with the Symantec portfolio in the past couple of years. So we had a lot of technical sessions, as you can imagine. We had a lot of sales sessions. Broadcom brought a lot of their product managers to the event, and of course for the technical people, it was really interesting to see how the products have been developing over time and what the roadmaps are. And what I'd like to do today is just to maybe highlight just some of the updates that are coming on the Symantec roadmap across their portfolio. And as you can see there, you know, people also took the opportunity on a beautiful sunny day, which it actually rained for most of the event, but on the final day, people took the opportunity to get out and about. So it was great to meet new partners, put faces to names again after so many virtual calls, to meet people on face to face. So just in terms of one of the main things that Symantec were very eager to impress upon partners at the event was their focus on what they call Symantec Enterprise Cloud. And there were so many acronyms, as you can imagine, with technology. So there was SEC, Symantec Enterprise Cloud. There was a lot of talk about SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, and ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access. So I just maybe highlight some of those products and how Symantec are bringing those to the market and looking to work with partners on those technologies. So here on this particular slide, Symantec really, along the bottom, you'll see there that there's four main pillars with Symantec. And they have endpoint security, network security, information, and email. And a lot of those security control points have individual products for individual requirements at the end customer level. So a lot of options that partners can provide to end customers through the Broadcom portfolio. And that covers everything from the end user side of things, whether they're internal users, maybe contractors, remote users, irrespective of the device types people are using, and indeed controlling what type of data and information is required, whether that's on-premise information, whether that information is in SaaS applications, etc. So really what I go through now is just, I suppose, some of the portfolio and the future plans that we discussed at the event. So one of the first, I would say, main areas that Symantec wanted to focus and again impress on partners was how they can provide a hybrid journey for partners. So I think I may have shown this slide on a previous webinar, but you can again see here, and again, it doesn't highlight all the Symantec products, but it certainly highlights a lot of the categories and the control points that Symantec work with, from endpoint to data loss prevention, email, web security, and compliance. And I think the important point that we took away from the Momentum event is that Symantec not only provide solutions that sit on-premise and that can be deployed on-premise, which obviously is an extremely important requirement for a lot of end customers out there. Take, for example, some government bodies or law enforcement, for example. They have very strict regulations and deployment must be on-premise. So Symantec can really fill a gap there. But Symantec also, as part of that hybrid journey, Symantec also have a lot of options to deploy those same types of security controls in the cloud and delivered as a SaaS option. So what customers can do is, if they are on-premise, but they would like to maybe discover what the offering provides from a SaaS point of view, they can maintain their existing on-premise deployment. But as we'll see shortly, through some of the consolidation and the SKUs that Symantec have created, they can take their partners can take their customers on a journey to show them what the SaaS offering includes. So again, I'll highlight that in a moment. Now this slide, you'll think this is maybe more focused on a competing strategy, and I guess at a high level it is, but really Symantec didn't really focus on the competition at the event, I would say. However, it did stress the gaps that are in the competition's portfolio, and I think this slide really highlights some of those gaps in some of the, what we would consider some of the main competition to Symantec. I think for me, an important aspect or point at the event was that there was an IDC analyst at the event, and he was actually highlighting, you know, the security resource issue and how customers need to consolidate solutions where possible in order to reduce the burden on security resources. And I think this slide really highlights that, in the sense that Symantec really do have a very in-depth portfolio which covers a lot of the security control points that different customers in different verticals and indeed different size organizations will require. They, again, similar to the previous slide, Symantec also highlighted, you know, that necessity for a lot of customers' requirement for an on-premise presence, and again how Symantec is a strong option in that scenario. But not just for those types of customers that maybe they're on-premise at the moment, they would like to go to the cloud, or indeed customers who just want a strong and mature cloud solution. Symantec can provide that as well. Okay, so this just again highlights some of the new methods that Symantec is working on in terms of a holistic licensing approach to different security requirements. So with web protection, for example, and we also see endpoint security here, what Symantec is doing is it's providing an all-in-one option, user-based usually, for, in this case, web protection. So we see the first column here. We see that Symantec is providing customers with a single SKU, a single purchase, which will give them the option to maintain an on-premise deployment, or alternatively, it will give them the option to have a deployment in a SaaS controlled environment. And it will also include extra web protection features, such as browser isolation, which is a completely separate technology, but something that Symantec have introduced to their portfolio, and indeed they've integrated that with their existing proxy technology. As part of that web protection feature or bundle, they would also include, a lot of content and deep file inspection, which will again reduce the amount of alerts that IT administrators will have to deal with, because the product, as part of the scanning of traffic and files, etc., it will reduce the amount of false positives or indeed alerts that are coming through a web protection. We also spoke about the middle column, Symantec Network Protection, which is essentially the web protection bundle, but with extra features such as zero trust network access and sandboxing. So again, we'll talk about zero trust network access in a moment. And we focused a lot, I think, on the last webinar on Symantec Endpoint Security Complete. So again, you can maintain your existing on-prem deployment of Symantec for customers that are using it. But you can also take the customer on that hybrid journey to maybe control endpoints of remote users, perhaps, that are outside the network environment. So you can have that kind of hybrid journey with Symantec Endpoint Security Complete. And there was many updates around this product. So this would be, a real anchor product for Symantec in terms of providing customers with best of breed endpoint protection on-premise, in the cloud, and also introducing their latest EDR technology, which I say latest, the features are constantly being added to the solution, but EDR for Symantec has been around for a couple of years now. So a really powerful technology there. So I'll just briefly go through some of those features as well. And similar story with DLP. So obviously a very powerful technology from Symantec, a market leader for many years. So Symantec have now extended the capabilities of their on-premise DLP, where information can be reviewed, alerts can be provided to DLP administrators or to security administrators for anybody maybe moving information around an on-premise environment, whether that's over the network, whether it's over email, whether it's file sharing, etc. That now has been extended to DLP Cloud on the right-hand side, where Symantec have integrated their existing DLP technology with their CASB technology, so that information can be reviewed and monitored, and block actions can be taken regardless of where the information is. So whether it's moving internally on premise or whether it's going up to the cloud to file shares such as Teams or OneDrive, or indeed if it's going up to Office 365, the CASB technology can now be utilized in association with the existing DLP on-prem technology. And customers have that option. So if the focus is on securing more SaaS applications, customers can utilize the Symantec DLP Cloud route, or if it's on-prem, they can utilize the DLP core route. And for full visibility, a customer can utilize both. So consolidation, I guess it's been a buzzword in the security industry, making it the easier we try and make it for customers, the better. Again, looking at that resource issue, that security resource issue, the less people we have that customers need to manage and maintain solutions, the better. So Symantec really highlighted this at the event in terms of what they're calling the Symantec Enterprise Cloud Portal. So really what you're looking at here is one login portal, which gives you a dashboard view of the products that will eventually be on this kind of centralized cloud portal. This will be coming before the end of 2023. So this picture you're seeing here is a beta version, but essentially customers who have, for example, endpoint security, who have web security, who have DLP and CASB, they will be able to, at a single view, look at what type of analysis is coming through from those products on the dashboard view that you see here. But they will also be able to just move tab by tab in order to be able to administer and manage the different solutions that they have a license. So again, whether it's endpoint protection, endpoint security, web security, CASB, for example. So that was really impressive, and it was great to see, because Symantec have tried this on several occasions. They tried it pre-Broadcom. It was probably put back due to the Broadcom acquisition. But again, in the background over the last couple of years, the Broadcom team and the Symantec team have really brought this back into focus again. So it's great to see that consolidation happening. And it's not just happening with the portals, with the login, the administration portals. It's also happening very much so with the amount of agents. So you imagine you have many different control points, many different products. Each of those products would often require a piece of software, an agent or a client to be installed on your device. So one of the major benefits with Symantec is, because they have so many control points, what they're now doing is that they're creating one single agent which will deliver different feature sets. So if you have endpoint security, for example, and you have clients pushed out across your whole estate, and you then decide, okay, I need to have a strong web protection solution in place, and you decide to work with Symantec on web protection, essentially the existing client from the endpoint protection clients, you can turn on a feature which will redirect traffic to the Symantec either on-premise proxy or cloud proxy. So there is absolutely zero requirement for deployment considerations for a web security client, for example, or there's zero requirement for updates to be sent to that agent. The agent will essentially just turn on features based on a policy that has been set in the new proxy deployment, for example. And that type of mindset is going to be pushed out across Symantec. So I think what you see here is, pre-Broadcom, you had Symantec running individual agents for individual products, but now post-acquisition and into 2024, there will be a lot more focus on ensuring that a lot of the Symantec products will be running through a single agent, and simply policies on the individual products, so whether it's DLP or a proxy or endpoint or CASB, that the individual feature will be turned on that single agent. I think the next slide kind of highlights that maybe a bit more clearly. So again, this will be rolled out over time, over the course of this year primarily. So at the moment, we have the endpoint security agent also works as the network steering agent for our cloud proxy and for our edge proxy, the on-prem proxy. During the course of 2023, we'll also roll in the DLP agent, and as you see there, a lot of the network features will not only include the proxy, but also the CASB technology, the zero trust network access technology, and DLP cloud will be in there. Browser isolation will also be in there. So a real focus on simplifying the technology for the sake of the end user, to cut down that resource, to cut down on the overhead as well on devices. So some really great news coming out of that. So again, that focus on the single agent, different products, utilizing the same agent, cutting down on that requirement to reduce the overhead on managing those clients. So of course, no security event would be fulfilled without SASE coming into the conversation. So Symantec certainly have quite a strong SASE message. They also spoke about SSE, which is Secure Service Edge, and essentially that's acknowledging the fact that the access part of SASE, the A in SASE, it refers more to SD-WAN networking and topology, and essentially that's not something that Symantec work in. I believe in the past Blue Coat did work with that, but it was a technology that they dropped because they wanted to focus on security first and foremost, and solely security. So Symantec will speak going forward more so about SSE, but it's completely related to the overall SASE story, which we see here on this slide. So, you know, Symantec will talk about the different control points that are required within the SASE solution, the overall SASE solution. And you know, there is no one size fits all SASE solution. It's more about what does the customer require in terms of controlling their information and their data. So different customers will have different requirements. And I think with the breadth of Symantec's portfolio, they can look at controls from an email perspective, from an internet usage perspective, from a SaaS and on-prem perspective, utilizing the proxies, utilizing browser isolation, private access, which we'll look at in a moment. DLP obviously plays a key part of that as well. And that's not only the types of data, but also who's accessing that. So whether it's a corporate managed device, or whether perhaps it's an unmanaged device, how do you control what types of access an unmanaged device will have? So there was a real focus around that as well. Now, I know this image is quite busy. We can absolutely share these slides, but I think for me, this just gives an idea of, from the left-hand side, who's accessing the information and from where. The central kind of piece highlights the different technologies that are in use for what the person is trying to access on the right-hand side. So whether it's internet, whether it's public or private cloud, whether it's SaaS applications, or whether it's individual file shares and email, for example. So I won't dwell on these. I'll run through them, but again, we can share the slides. So the focus here is on access to resources with managed devices. So whether that's to the internet, whether it's corporate hosted applications, etc. There's a lot of different technologies that Symantec can position to create, you know, the SASE solution for a specific customer. And that's absolutely something we would be happy to have a conversation on with partners in terms of what is the use case for the customer, and we can certainly then talk about what the SASE solution would be for that specific use case. So here we talk about, again, managed devices, access to resources to SaaS applications, for example. So you're talking about maybe more of a full stack of solutions that you would need to ensure full visibility into how users are accessing information into SaaS applications. We did look also at unmanaged devices. So again, whether that's a person coming in from outside the company, maybe it's a consultant, for example, and maybe it's a BYOD device. How do you give access to those types of users and devices securely without compromising the security of the information itself? So a lot of that focuses around remote browser isolation, for example, which is a technology that Symantec has, very powerful, and it's currently being integrated with the CASB technology, with proxy technology, for example, to make sure that access is available to those types of users, those types of devices, but the access is maintained and it's secure, which is the most crucial part for the SASE message. And then we also talk about unmanaged devices again for SaaS applications. So again, looking through that security stack. So I appreciate going through this quite fast, not calling out the individual products, but again, please feel free to have that conversation with us at any stage. We'd be delighted to work through the individual use cases. So Zero Trust Network Access came up also, and I think it's often associated with the SASE message. And from Symantec's point of view, Symantec are focusing a lot around the VPN as we know it. I guess it provides a lot of access, which is, essentially what it's been created for. It's been, it's a mature technology. It's been around for a long time. I think one of the aspects that Symantec spoke about was that when you're talking about VPN, you're essentially giving a lot of access to users, potentially and probably a lot more than they require. So a person may require RDP access, they may require access to an intranet site or a file server. But with VPNs, you're giving probably more than they need. The whole concept of least privilege certainly wouldn't apply to a VPN necessarily, because you're giving them direct access to the network. And what Symantec are looking to do when they talk about zero trust network access is that essentially Symantec would sit in the middle between users and between your corporate applications. And it would only provide specific access to users based on a policy. So in short, Symantec would have the specific name won't come to me now, but a Symantec agent, for want of a better word, would sit on a local network, and it would only provide access to specific applications based on policy. So a user would log into a Symantec portal, and based on policies that would be set up, they would have specific access to an individual service or an individual application within the corporate network. So with that in mind, you could have managed devices or indeed unmanaged devices accessing the Symantec portal, not going anywhere near the actual corporate network itself, and only interacting with the corporate application via the Symantec cloud SaaS product, which is called a Secure Access Cloud. So they did talk a lot about that in terms of how you can reduce a lot of the risk and provide that zero trust network access concept to replace what would have been traditional VPN access. There was again a lot of focus around that at the event. And look, this is something that a lot of Symantec's competitors are also working with. The concept is very similar, but it's just if you're having those conversations with your end customers, perhaps it's something that they're struggling with. They feel that VPN is giving too much access to their users, to their external users, etc. So this is quite a powerful solution that Symantec are providing, and it's something that we'd be delighted to speak to you about. Obviously, Gartner came up in the conversation. Gartner, I believe it was Gartner that actually coined the SASE phrase. So we talked a lot about the Gartner recommendations around SASE. Again, we've probably gone through this in some of the previous slides here, but essentially how the main components of SASE, the majority of them are covered within the Symantec portfolio, which again is a lot more than can be said for a lot of the competition, certainly when it comes to the secure access gateway, SSL decryption, DLP, CASB. You can see the list there, cloud firewall, which Symantec have, the monitoring, the DLP aspect. The only element that Symantec will clearly admit that they don't work in would be that SD-WAN element. But again, there's a lot of other vendors that specialize in that type of technology. And in terms of, again, working with Gartner's recommendations, so you see here each point in black, consolidating vendors when renewing web gateways, CASBs, ZTNA solutions. So you can see Symantec's offerings here to each of those points. Again, just highlighting the fact that Symantec do have a very broad portfolio, and it's something that they can work with you and your customers with in terms of providing those solutions. Just on one point here, the third point. So in the long term, extend SASE capabilities to include digital experience management. So you see here in green, DEM integration is tentatively scheduled for the fall with Broadcom's AppNeta solution. So Broadcom acquired AppNeta quite recently. It's a digital experience management solution. It is something that we are actively working with at the moment in terms of pricing and training and enablement. It's essentially a tool that will allow customers to recognize where there are issues on a network between an end user and the application. That application could be Google, it could be Microsoft, it could be anything. But essentially the AppNeta technology looks at a very detailed type of trace route, for want of a better word, and that type of functionality will be incorporated into some of Symantec solutions going forward. But that digital experience management, some of you may be familiar with that. It's something that customers are looking for more and more, and it's now something that Symantec can offer also. So I'll just quickly run through some of the innovations, and then I'll maybe hand over to Christoph for some other information. So innovations and roadmaps, I think that's why there were so many partners there, and the engagement was so strong because there was so much new information being released about these products, and the rate of development was, I think, really impressive for everybody. So whether it was the CASB highlights, which, you know, we talked about the integration with DLP a moment ago. We also talked about how it's a really important part of the overall SASE story. So many ongoing developments there. So we had the product managers talk us through a lot of those features. Same for DLP, again, you know, connected now to CASB, but a lot of that focus around the single agent for DLP now being incorporated in with endpoint protection, web protection, CASB, etc. The cloud proxy or the cloud SWG highlights, again, part of the overall SASE story, single agent, more access to different data centers through their engagement with Google. So the Symantec data centers are part of the Google infrastructure. So Symantec don't actually need to go and deploy their own data centers necessarily. They don't need to create a brand new physical building, a brand new data center themselves, which a lot of the competition do. Because of Broadcom's size and scale and their relationship with Google across the world, Symantec are actually utilizing Google's own data centers, which actually brings them so much more closer to individual geographic locations, individual points of presence, which improve the overall, I should say, reduce the overall latency and improve the overall performance of their SaaS solutions. And that was something that they really focused on as well, their relationship with Google, which again improves the overall performance of their solutions. The Edge SWG as well. So again, a lot of development ongoing there with their on-premise appliances, whether that's their physical hardware appliances or their virtual appliances. And of course, Endpoint, again, one of their cornerstone solutions, a lot of updates there around features for endpoint developments. So there's a lot of work for information. Actually, I think I have one or two slides on that as well, if we have time, but a lot of focus around improvements to EDR, trying to reduce the amount of time that incident investigators need to spend to get down to the core issue of maybe problems that are going on their network. Getting information out of the endpoint product in terms of streaming APIs into SIEM tools or SOAR tools, for example. There was a lot of excitement from partners around that, you know, so not just having Symantec product as an individual product, but very much being able to have that information within those products available to SIEM tools for more higher level monitoring. So that was very much a strong focus and feature there as well. So let me just see what else we have. So maybe just for now, we're 33 minutes in. So one the Symantec and Broadcom CTO, one of the main areas he wanted to focus on, and he finished up with his session on the Wednesday, I think. It really was just to highlight again to partners the ongoing research and development that Symantec and Broadcom are putting into their products to focus on blocking those next generation cloud-based attacks with the adaptive protection that they're working with the deception technology they're working with the integration, the single agent, the third point, the third column there, consolidating the platforms, making management easier, consolidating the agents, the clients, the software that needs to be installed across endpoints, the reduction there compared to maybe having multiple point products from different vendors, and the simplification of DLP. So DLP has been a strong compliance tool over the past couple of years, a market leader. So trying to simplify that, trying to simplify for DLP administrators or compliance administrators how to simplify securing the data journey from on-prem to the cloud and from cloud to on-prem. Some really strong messaging, I would say. Over the course of the event, it went on for 5 days. The sales focus was weighted towards the beginning of the week, and the technical people, of course, had to stay on towards the end of the week. So it was a long week, but it was, filled with a lot of really exciting and fresh information. So hopefully I've done it justice in the 35 minutes I've been speaking. Hopefully you've been able to recognize that Symantec are really continuing, I should say, to develop their products, their features, taking feedback from partners, very eager to engage with the partner community and to showcase the technology that they're working with. So maybe just at this point, Rainer and Christoph, perhaps it might be best if we pass over to yourselves. I believe you have some content as well to share.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ciaran, for the overview. Honestly speaking, like for the 5 days that I was there, my head was smoking. So it was really incredible that you actually managed now in 35 minutes to compromise everything and present us.
My great respect.
Yeah,
Ciaran. in 35 minutes, content from 5 days.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much.
I'm sure I missed a few items, but thank you.
Even if you missed a few things, a lot of the partners that I'm welcoming now, they can obviously always reach out if they want to have more information, if they want something that they've been missing, if they need like more information on certain products, then we are obviously more than happy to help them out. So even if that's the case. The reason why I quickly want to head into the deal registration, during the partner event when I was attending, a lot of the partners came up to me, and obviously we discussed in some way or another new business and how to generate that. And it's not just about the renewals, obviously, with Symantec. There's a lot of potential that we've just heard from Ciaran with the solution that Symantec has to offer. And I believe that even in the end consumer landscape, there are many things changing, and obviously they need new products coming in and updates and new features. So that's one of the reasons why I quickly wanted to touch our reward program, which is the deal registration. I'm just briefly gonna introduce it, and if you have more questions, then please reach out. So regarding our deal registration, as I said, it's a reward program. What it basically does is, in case if you have a new business, and I'm gonna come into more detail what a new business is, it actually helps you secure that deal for you as a partner for the end consumer. It protects it for a certain amount of time, and you also have the benefit of certain discounts. So the one thing that I'm going to introduce is the deal registration for the commercial business. As maybe some of you know, regarding Symantec or Broadcom, there are different categorizations for the end consumers. So there's, for example, the commercial business, then, or now it's called the SMB business. In the past, we also had the enterprise or digital and also the core. But in this regard, I'm just going to introduce the commercial business. What you need in order to deal register, you need a minimum deal value of 2,000 list price. That's the dollar value. And all the opportunities must be registered online in the deal registration tool, which I'm also going to introduce in a second. And you need to submit and complete the data for each opportunity. The reason why I'm only introducing the commercial business, there is also a way to deal register for core and digital, which I'm also going to show in a second. But regarding the commercial business, that's more on our side regarding Arrow. So yeah, as I said, the deal registration happens only for new business and not renewals. That's very important. Regarding the new business definition, so obviously new business is in case you have a new sales opportunity in the segment of the SMB accounts where they don't have any product with Symantec as of today. If they have the list price, as I said, that needs to be ordered. Another business definition can also be the capacity. So let's say, for example, you have a new sales opportunity for add-on sales. So the consumer, they already have existing products in use, but you obviously have add-ons. So there would be like additional licenses that you can, for example, sell them. Another category would be the upsell. So that's something that I've discussed a lot in the summit, where a lot of the clients are using SEP, but as you, for example, Ciaran, have mentioned, they want to potentially not only have an on-premise solution, but the needs or the requirements of the business have changed, and they maybe need like a cloud solution, a hybrid solution, so they can move from SEP to, let's say, SaaS Complete, or as you have other products available. That's the upsell category. So giving them additional benefits or upgrading the existing products. Another category of the new business would be a win back. So let's say, for example, a customer decided in the past that they want to change the endpoint protection and use it from a competitor. And for some reason, I mean, I would probably know a couple of reasons, but let's say they actually wanted to come back and see the benefits that Symantec has to offer, and that's the solution for them, but they haven't had a contract in the last 12 months, that's a win back. So if that hasn't been active, but they have been a former Symantec SMB customer, that would be something that you can also deregister. Given the timing, I just quickly want to show you that you can register your deals in these 3 steps when you log into the Symantec portal, which I'm quickly just gonna access here. So once you access the portal, which would be the overview that you have here, you scroll down to the Symantec Security Partner portal, click on Explore, and you go down to the deal registration, click here to learn more. And in the middle section, so let's scroll down again. Here you have the small, medium, and business commercial accounts, the deal registration. You'll find all of the information, how to request access, so to the portal, how to access to the register a deal. Also, it basically gives you all the information, also the program terms and conditions. And on the left-hand side, you would have the enterprise or the digital account deregistration, something that you would also benefit from. So that's just a quick overview. If you need help, obviously, then I'm more than happy to help you and assist you. Another thing that I just quickly wanted to point out, which is also very important, the deal registration happens on a first come, first served basis. So I've had a couple of partners reaching out to me whether they're one of the opportunities that they have could be deal registered. And I know for example, as I can look into the system, that some of these cases have already been registered. So you have to be quick once you have an opportunity that you actually registered, because the reason is it will get protected for you for 90 days, as I pointed out here in the bottom section. That will automatically expire after the end date. So it's not just about the discounts, but it's also protecting the opportunity that you have, which is very important, because if you don't, somebody else might do that for you. The reason why I'm telling you you have to do it is, unfortunately, I can't access the deal registration for you. It's not because I'm lazy, but that's something that you have to do in order to process it. You have the information. So I would very much welcome you to actually look at it, try it yourself. And if you have any questions, please let me know. The other thing is it takes like 24 to 48 hours, as you see here, for an approval to be processed. So don't worry about that. We're behind everything in that case. Then get a presentation quickly. Those were the most important things. Another exclusion is maybe that anything that has been forecasted in terms of deals by Symantec, they can't be deregistered. That's maybe one thing that you should know. And that's something where I can barely see it. Oh yeah, during the ordering process, you need, once it has been approved, the deal register, you need to put in the deal registration number on the purchase order so that we can process it. Yeah, given the timing, I think that's a quick overview. If I can just continue with that. Yeah, and I just quickly wanted to thank everybody for attending and listening to us. And I'm just going to hand over to Rainer really quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I switch back to German, if it is okay for you. Wir haben hier noch unser Symantec-Team hier bei Arrow ECS Österreich noch kurz aufgelistet. Wie ich es eingangs schon erwähnt habe, wir haben seit dem 1. Februar, also vor etwas mehr als einem Jahr eben, das war der Cyber-Security-Portfolio von Symantec erworben als Arrow. Das heißt aber auch für Sie, und was uns auch wichtig ist, dass wir nebst den ganzen Neuerungen, die uns der Ciaran jetzt vorgestellt hat, auch den Deal-Reg-Prozess, aber wir auch technisch unterstützen können. Technisch auch im Sinne von Support, aber auch im Sinne von Produktdemos für Sie und auch für Ihre Kunden. Also wir hatten auch, oder wir haben eigentlich auch immer wieder Anfragen, zum Beispiel, wo es darum gegangen ist, die Symantec DLP-Lösung, die jetzt auch vorgestellt worden ist, einmal zu zeigen, was da die Benefits sind. Bitte da einfach auf Christoph oder auf mich zuzukommen. Wir organisieren das dann intern. Also wir haben da wirklich sehr gute Leute sitzen, ich sage mal quer über den Globus, aber das wurscht, mit Teams ist ja, oder Zoom ist ja halt mittlerweile schon sehr viel möglich. Also da können wir auch unterstützen. Das sei hier nur erwähnt und ist mir auch ganz wichtig, dass Sie ein gutes Gefühl haben, ja, weil ich als Ihr Partner Sales Manager, ich promote sehr gerne Lösungen, wo wir auch den Support sicherstellen können, sei es jetzt in der Pre-Sales-Phase, aber natürlich bei der Implementierung und auch in der Post-Sales-Phase. Ja. Aber wie gesagt, einfach auf uns zukommen.
Genau, kann ich nur bestätigen.
Ja, wir sind ja mittlerweile auch sehr umtriebig. Insights bei Arrow gibt es ja schon sehr lange, aber auch unser YouTube-Kanal, der freut sich zunehmend der Beliebtheit, genauso wie unsere LinkedIn-Followers. Vielen Dank einmal dafür. Bleiben Sie uns da weiter gewogen, folgen Sie uns. Wir haben, denke ich, sehr gute Lösungen quer über unser Herstellerportfolio. Man hat es jetzt unlängst wieder angeschaut, wir haben über 60 Hersteller im Programm drinnen. Also es ist Tendenz steigend. Also einfach bitte einfach da bei uns dran zu bleiben. Wir haben eine eigene Education-Abteilung für Herstellerzertifizierungen und so weiter und so fort. Also das, was wir als Value die halt anbieten können. Gut, dann würde ich sagen, haben wir schon ein bisschen über der Zeit. Vielen Dank für Ihre Teilnahme. Thanks, Ciaran, for your support and for this 35 minutes from 5 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, stay tuned and have a nice day.
Danke vielmals.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.